be her final trip. I think Rosie might be totaled. It's probably enough to total it because she's old and insurance companies don't give her a whole lot of value.
We were heading to Arizona for Thanksgiving, and I think we hit something on the road, had a rear tire blowout, and it basically wiped the coach out, maybe totaled. So I'm going to show you what we got going here. So it ripped the entire side of the RV apart. Tire blew. Completely, pretty much disintegrated. Here's a bunch of electronic components. And this is all stuff that was, whatever was in there is gone because the tire blew out and sent it all over the highway.
We're here at Lazy Days RV Center here in Tucson, Arizona, where Rosie was towed to.
We had a rear tire blowout that did pretty extensive damage to the RV, so we're going to be doing some repairs. Hopefully it's repairable. Luckily we're insured correctly, so if they end up totaling it, that might happen too, but so far it sounds like it might be repairable.
So today, instead of going on the trip that we were going on through southern Arizona, instead we got a U-Haul and we're loading pretty much everything that we might need in the near future.
Right.
So yeah. We might be having to rent an RV to go to Quartzsite because we still want to go.
Yeah, still want to go to Quartzsite, so we'll figure something out for that.
So we'll tell you more about what happened, and we documented a lot of what happened. We'll tell you that in this episode of Roaming with Rosie.
About 5:30 p.m. on November 26th, we were heading to Phoenix, Arizona to have Thanksgiving with friends when an outside rear tire on the passenger side blew out.
Hey guys, like everyone else, we're heading to be with friends and family for Thanksgiving, and we just had a blowout. Not just any blowout. The rear tire blew out the side of the RV, and it looks like all the electrical that connects to the engine, because we're a diesel pusher, 40 feet long. I don't know how they're going to get us off the freeway even, because it's the back. They can't roll forward in any way.
If you follow Roaming with Rosie, you know that we try to be prepared for situations that can occur while traveling around in a big motorhome.
In fact, 2024 had us invest in retro bands for our front tires, which potentially would save our lives and perhaps the motorhome in the event of a front tire blowout.
Now, retro bands need to be put on the front tires because when you have a front tire blowout, when whatever tire blows out in the front, when that tire blows, it's going to want to pull you to that side. Being that your rear tires don't steer and that we have four, the likelihood of all two being blown out in one situation is very unlikely. So you really don't need retro bands in the rear tires.
You may have noticed that the rocking inside the coach when I was talking there was like being in a plane in severe turbulence. There was no way that we could sit inside and wait for help to come.
Plus, when the tire blew, it blew out all the electronics because there's electronics that were on the side of the coach where that tire blew. And it blew that entire compartment out. It blew out all the electronics for the slides, the leveling system, and also the ignition and all that for the motor. So when that happened, immediately alarms started going off, and they continued the entire time until we got the rig towed. Here's my tire. And then whatever electronic components were in here, I don't remember, but they're history. They're back on the highway somewhere. And then it blew this compartment door off. So I think our rig might be totaled. Happy Thanksgiving.
my God. You're gonna be able to do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for it to be clear and then I'll pull out and pull us.
How you're gonna climb in through this side?
Well, we thought we had a tow guy coming out who was going to be able to tow it. And then I just explained to the guy that I can't get it into neutral and I can't release the brake. So he said he can't do it. So now we're back in waiting mode again. So I don't know if we're ever going to get this thing towed or they're just going to burn it where it sits. I don't know. But we've been here 2.5 hours and haven't had any solution thus far.
So 4 hours that we've been sitting on the side of the I-10 freeway, 18 miles east of Tucson. We're sitting in the car, which we moved and put in front of the RV, because the RV is like sitting in the bad turbulence on an airplane with trucks going by it. But our next step is we called 911 and they can send out the appropriate wrecker. We might be ending up having the highway patrol connect us with somebody to get it off the road. We still got to go find somewhere to stay tonight. Fortunately, we had our own bathroom with us since we were not about to leave the RV and drive off and come back to it. I mean, Jamie's an insurance agent. We just talked to Progressive, our insurance company, to find out how it's going to go and where we need it towed to. Unfortunately, we don't have towing for it on our policy. Big mistake.
Later that evening, when I called Progressive to report the claim, I asked the representative if I had roadside assistance on my policy, and they incorrectly told me that I didn't. So I just took it at her word, but then later I was thinking about it and said, you know what, I think I do have that on my policy. So I was able to go onto the app, and yes, I confirmed that I did have roadside assistance. So I called back and basically spoke to Progressive's roadside assistance people, and they basically told me that how that would work I would have to set up the tow, so I would have to call a place, have them tow it. I'd have to hold on my receipts, submit my receipts, and then I would get reimbursed. But being that we had already notified FMCA and they were already working on it and we wouldn't have any out of pocket, we decided to wait for FMCA to follow through and make the tow happen. We happened to have a cell signal so he could go in and look it up. But if we'd had a notebook like near the exit that we could grab with all our information about anything that we're doing in the RV, we just think that's probably a really good tip for the future. And we also should have recorded our phone calls just in case. Right, yeah, because what we should have done is, like with our FMCA roadside assistance, luckily I know where that is in our computer. But what I should have done is I should have printed all that information out. I should have printed out a copy of the FMCA contract that had all our information on it, and our member number. And then I also should have printed out a copy of our Progressive policy and have that in a easy to access place, so that when it happens, you're not having to fumble around, look on your phone and the app and look in the computer to see what your member number is for FMCA. If you have it printed out, it's just a lot easier. So about 9 o'clock at night, remember this happened at 5:30, about 9 o'clock, almost 4 hours after the event, FMCA Roadside Rescue wasn't getting anywhere with finding a tow and asked us if we knew of any tow companies that were in the area. So we started calling around ourselves. Again, we were so thankful that we had a cell signal. It was weak, but we had one. And we found a company about 90 miles northwest of where we were, and the owner-operator answered the phone and explained how they would have to tow Rosie. What he told us what the cost would be, which was about $400 an hour from the time that he left his facility until he returned to his facility. Plus, he said that the tire had to be replaced to safely tow it. So we would have to pay for the tire itself, but then everything else would be covered by the roadside assistance program. Plus, he told us it was about 2 hours to set up just to be able to start towing Rosie. Yeah, so 2 hours once they got there to getting her all ready to tow. So as you can tell, it's daylight, and we're still sitting in the car in front of the RV on the I-10 freeway. Last night,
They ended up calling the same tow company this morning. Last night they weren't willing to pay the price. So they spent hours last night going into the middle of the night trying to find a cheaper tow, and all they found was more expensive ones. So they ended up calling the first one back this morning and saying, okay, we'll do it.
From what I understand, I talked to one towing company. They said you're looking at $4,000 to $4,500 to tow the vehicle.
We've been sitting for 16 hours on the side of the I-10 freeway because we didn't want to leave the RV. We did call the police, notify them what's going on, said we were safe so they wouldn't come knock on the door or whatever, you know, but we didn't stay in the RV because we didn't feel it was safe. It's, you know, barely off the road. It's huge. So we disconnected our tow and we put it in front of the RV at a distance. So there's something, semi-truck hits the back of the RV. We hope we're farther enough ahead sitting in our car for 16 hours. This is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. It's not safe. Totally left us in an unsafe situation because they're pinching pennies when they said they would not. Another thing that really surprised us was almost 4 hours after this happened, no highway patrol or state trooper had stopped to check on us. We called them to find out about having them find a tow for us or a lowboy wrecker, which is what we thought we would need. They called us later and they called us again in the morning to check on us. And they had told us we would have to pay for everything and then hope we got reimbursed. We were just a little unsure about that. About 9 a.m. the next morning, an officer did stop by and check with us again and go over what our options were. So once we called them, the 911 call, after that, they kept checking on us by phone. And then, like I said, an officer stopped in the morning too.
So since you see us standing here talking to you, you know that we finally got rescued. And we wanted to get this video out to you to let you know what happened to us and let you know that we're safe.
Thanks for watching, and thank you to everyone for the kind thoughts and all the offers to help us while it was going on. Once we started posting on social media what we were going through, a lot of people were communicating with us, and that was really nice. We really appreciate it.
So we're going to end this right here and get this out to you.
We'll fill you in on the next video with what happened after that.
We'll run the inside tire right on that, right on.
We hope you'll stick with us and learn from our experience on how to plan for these things, because if you travel in an RV as much as we do, or even more than we do, it's going to happen. These events are going to happen to you.
If you found this video helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you'd share it with your friends and family on social media. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
And ring that little notification bell. That way you'll be notified each time we upload new content.
And make sure to leave a comment. That way you could be part of the conversation.
Until next time,
we'll see ya.